Okay, John chapter 11. Now, we're going to look at a miracle first, and at the end, we're going to see some pretty powerful statements about some prophecies about Jesus. So it starts with this miracle of the raising of Lazarus. This was a personal family friend of Jesus. A man named Lazarus was sick. He lived in Bethany with his sisters, Mary and Martha. And so you can read this, but we'll just highlight a couple things before you read it. It says, when Jesus heard that he had died, or actually that he was sick, Jesus says his sickness will not end in death. It happened for the glory of God, and so that the Son of God will receive glory from this. So notice two things there. First of all, for the glory of God, but also specifically that the Son of God, Jesus is talking about himself, will receive glory from this. So the idea of glory is he will be revealed for who he is, because remember the big question, who is Jesus? And so he's going to, again, begin to reveal who he is through this, because the miracle is, as you read through that, Lazarus actually dies before Jesus gets there, and Jesus ends up raising him from the dead. Pretty powerful example and statement about who Jesus really is. And then at the end, in verse 25, Jesus, talking to Martha, he says, I am the resurrection and the life. And so he uses this miracle, and then he broadens it, and he's talking now not about physical death. He's talking about spiritual life and death. He says, I am the resurrection and the life. This was after he raised Lazarus from the dead. And so you can see the meaning that this is filled with. He says, anyone who believes in me will live even after dying. And so he uses the Lazarus miracle to begin to show them and to tell them what he is there for, what his life is all about. Now, as you go further down, you see this at the end of this story. After the story, it says that because of this, the leading priests and the Pharisees came together and they started getting nervous. And I've highlighted a lot of this because it's kind of important. It says, they said, if we allow him to go on like this, soon everyone will believe in him, and then the Roman army will come and destroy both our temple and our nation. So they were sort of getting nervous about what Jesus was doing. They thought he was going to sort of end up leading a revolt against the Romans. And so Caiaphas, who was a high priest at the time, you'll see him later in the Bible, he said, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't realize that it's better for you that one man should die for the people than for the whole nation to be destroyed. So Caiaphas is saying, we should kill Jesus, right? Because it's better for one guy to die than the whole nation be in jeopardy because of this revolutionary. And look at what it says. I highlighted in green there. It says this. This is interesting, 51 and 52. It says, he didn't say this on his own. As high priest at that time, he was led to prophesy that Jesus would die for the entire nation. And not only for that nation, but to bring together and unite all of the children of God scattered around the world. Those two verses are important in the sort of the big picture of the New Testament and the Bible, because it's talking about the fact that, first of all, that God led him to prophesy that what I think the way Caiaphas meant it didn't really get at the truth of the whole thing, that really Jesus would die, not just so that the Romans wouldn't come and take over the temple, destroy the temple, but Jesus would die for the nation, for the sins of the nation. And Jesus would die, in fact, for the sins of the whole world, like it says in 52, not only for the nation of Israel, but to bring together and unite all of the children of God scattered around the world. So including everyone who would believe. And we'll see this in green. We'll see this more and more in Romans and in some of the other letters in the New Testament. But for our purposes now, verse 53 says, so from that time on, the Jewish leaders began to plot Jesus' death. We'll learn more about that tomorrow, but for now, read John chapter 11.